This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you don't miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now, the news for April 28th, 2023. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has responded to Disney Parks and Resorts suing him and his Central Florida Tourism Oversight District Board of Supervisors over their voiding of Disney's development agreement with the Reedy Creek Improvement District Board. During a press conference in Jerusalem, that's correct, believe it or not, part of his international trade mission, DeSantis said, quote, "I don't think the suit has merit. I think it's political. I think they filed in Tallahassee for a reason because they're trying to generate some district court decision. But we're very confident on the law." That came from NBC News. Meanwhile, quote, "They're upset because they're having to live by the same rules as everybody else," DeSantis said, echoing earlier statements that he's made. "They don't want to pay the same taxes as everybody else, and they want to be able to control things without proper oversight. The days of putting one company on a pedestal with no accountability are over in the state of Florida," and that was via Fortune. We're going to stop for a second. And I will again give my usual disclaimer that I have no political agenda. I do not care for the right nor the left. I am in the middle, and I'm just reacting to what I read. He said it's political. Well, when you're suing a governor and a agency of the government, it tends to be. If it wasn't political, it'd be a cause for concern, perhaps. So I don't really understand that statement, but whatever. And then as far as we've talked about this special treatment thing before, right? When Walt Disney World came here, there was nothing here. Well, Florida, Central Florida in particular, did not have the infrastructure that they needed to do what they needed to do. So instead of making taxpayers pay for it, which I'm sure Central Florida would have been happy to have this major tourist destination, and I'm sure taxpayers would have been made to pay for it back then, they didn't make them do that, right? And so to pretend 50 years later, oh, well, Disney got what they wanted because, they manipulated us and blah, blah, blah. That's not what happened. Disney kind of did the government a favor back then. Like, yeah, sure, maybe things have certainly changed. But if things changed, how much of that has changed because of Walt Disney World, right? How much of Central Florida even exists because of the tourism dollars that Walt Disney World and then the subsequent tourist destinations that fed off of Walt Disney World brought in, right? But the other side of that's funny is they talk about no one getting special treatment. How often, and I'm sure it's common in this state, but it's common in a lot of places, how often do people get tax breaks and such for doing business in certain areas, right? I think about, in particular, the movie industry, right? People film, a lot of Marvel in particular these days, they film in Georgia because there's tremendous tax breaks and incentives, right? How is that different? I don't understand how that's different. Like in this country all the time, there are special deals made for businesses to do business in a certain geographical location. So to pretend that Disney is the only corporation in America that benefits from that is asinine. It really is, because there are dozens and dozens and dozens, and maybe I'm being conservative, it's probably hundreds and hundreds of companies and corporations that benefit from tax breaks and deals with local government. And each quote seems more incorrect than the last. I don't know at this point. Speaking of that, let's move on to the next one. Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody is quote unquote puzzled by Disney Parks and Resorts naming Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in their new lawsuit. Although DeSantis signed legislation into law that changed the Reedy Creek and appointed the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District Board of Supervisors, Moody said during a Fox and Friends appearance that he was not responsible. Moody said it was the Florida legislature and the Central Florida Oversight Board that took action that effectively eliminated special privileges or a self-governing authority of Disney. So it puzzled me, she continued, and you wonder if it was an attempt by Disney maybe to put pressure on the governor to shut him up, to make him stop talking about these privileges, or maybe stop talking about their change in approach to kids. Moody said she gives Disney's attorneys an A for effort for creative legal drafting, but she doesn't think the governor will back down. He is driven by principles and convictions, period. Not corporate pressure, not even a lawsuit against him, she said. But he was the one that started the replacement of Reedy Creek, right? Am I crazy? Didn't it directly begin with him? Wasn't it like it came from him first? And then he signed it, right? I'm so confused. And I'm sure there's somebody who's going to be offended and think I have an agenda, but I mean, clearly that's not factual, right? Like we watched it happen. I saw it on my television. I watched him sign. I watched him say he was going to do it, right? This is getting out of control. We got more to talk about. The Central Florida Tourism Oversight District Board of Supervisors has scheduled an extra meeting for Monday, May 1st at 9:30 a.m. The only agenda item for the meeting is board discussion and direction to litigation counsel and authorization to defend district officials sued in official capacities. At the board's meeting earlier this week, they officially, of course, voided Disney's final agreement with the Reedy Creek Improvement District Board. This is what prompted Disney to immediately file their lawsuit against the board and Governor DeSantis. Soon after the suit was filed, DeSantis' communication director, Taryn Fensk, released the following statement. "We are unaware of any legal right that a company has to operate its own government or maintain special privileges not held by other businesses in the state. The lawsuit is yet another unfortunate example of their hope to undermine the will of the Florida voters and operate outside the bounds of the law." I've had enough. I'm moving on for today. The live-action Ariel from the upcoming The Little Mermaid remake will make an appearance at Disneyland Park, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and Disneyland Paris this summer. Exact dates have not been announced for any of the experiences as of yet, but Ariel will appear in a joyful limited-time celebration at Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris. The interactive musical moment will include the songs Under the Sea and Kiss the Girl. Meanwhile, an Ariel meet and greet will open at Walt Disney Presents at Disney's Hollywood Studios. For a limited time, a sneak peek and props from the film will be available at the Walt Disney Presents Theater. This makes sense. Of course, we reported a few days ago that Sully was moving out and moving to Pixar Place, so this is who is moving in. And as well, Ariel will greet Disneyland guests on the promenade near It's a Small World. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. The best part is their concierge services are 100% free. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and the team will design your next magical vacation from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts to aboard the Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. As May the 4th approaches, Star Wars fans can add 2 new lightsaber hilts to their collection. Coming to Shop Disney on May 4th is a limited edition Cal Kestis lightsaber hilt. The Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary lightsaber hilt is already available. There have been multiple Cal Kestis lightsaber hilts available in the past year. The first legacy lightsaber released in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge resembled his original broken lightsaber handed down from Jaro Tapal. Another lightsaber hilt resembling the fixed version of the broken hilt was available with pre-orders of the Star Wars Jedi Survivor Collector's Edition. The new lightsaber hilt looks like Cal Kestis' second lightsaber made from parts of the first and Sere Junda's lightsaber. And I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. Let me know in the comments. The new hilt will be available for purchase on Shop Disney on May 4th at 8 a.m. Pacific time. A price has not been announced. And Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel video game to Fallen Order, will be released. Actually, it was released today, April 28th. So that's why I can't get in contact with Nick. That solves that question. Meanwhile, the Luke Skywalker 40th Anniversary Legacy Lightsaber set from Return of the Jedi is $249.99. Resembles the one Luke debuted in Return of the Jedi and celebrates the 40th anniversary of the film this year. The set includes the hilt, removable blade, and display stand. The first ever Corkcicle retail location is open at Disney Springs in Walt Disney World. Disney and Corkcicle have teamed up several times over the past few years to create various Disney-themed bottles and tumblers. And Corkcicle can be found at this merchandise stand outside Paddlefish in the Landing. They have a wide array of drinkware products and carriers, both Disney-inspired and their regular product. The price seems comparable to Corkcicle's online prices and Corkcicle products we found at the Disney parks as well. There's also a 10% discount available to Walt Disney World annual pass holders. Although many non-locals might not take pleasure in the Tokyo Disney Resort Encore the Moments exhibit at the Xperi, which is kind of their downtown Disney district, if you will, given its focus on mostly seasonal events through the years, a new addition to the museum shows off the making of the new daytime parade, Disney Harmony in Color, which of course everyone has been talking about, one of the greatest daytime parades that's ever been done, but I'll talk more about that in my honest review of it. We went to this exhibit a couple weeks ago, and needless to say, there were a number of things, a number of seasonal event props and costumes that I had never seen or heard of. I still think the exhibit was super cool. So if you love this like behind the scenes look, I highly recommend taking an afternoon and going to see Encore the Moments at Experience, a monorail ride away. It's pretty easy to get to. And this exhibit in particular, this Harmony and Color exhibit is spectacular. They have a maquette of every single float in the parade, and there's all these little pieces that tell you about how they develop different parts, and there's like test pieces and costume designs, and it's a really cool display. If you're not gonna get out there, please check out the post at WDWNT.com. I took photos of every inch of the display for you to enjoy. And of course, if you have not watched Disney Harmony and Color, we have 2 videos of it you can watch right here on the channel. And again, one of the best daytime parades I've seen in my 30-something years of going to Disney parks. Absolutely unbelievable. If you missed the Spirit of Aloha dinner show at Walt Disney World, the Mickey's Rainbow Luau show will be returning to Tokyo Disneyland this September. This delightful luau dinner show experience takes place within the Polynesian Terrace restaurant in Adventureland. It happens 4 times a night. The show follows Mickey and the gang as they exhibit traditional Polynesian culture through dances and songs to celebrate the various milestones of guests at the park. This will be the first pre-pandemic show to return in its original form. All other entertainment was introduced as a cut-down version, such as Big Band Beat, A Special Treat, or the no-dancer version of Dreaming Up, the parade that recently ended. Many shows from before, like Hello New York and My Friend Duffy, have ended entirely as a result of the pandemic. But this particular experience takes up about 55 minutes. The cost is variable by seating section. S-tier seats, the best in the house, are about $50 US. Mid-tier A seats are about $45 US. And the lowest tier B seats are about $40 US. Meanwhile, the Diamond Variety Muster, a new stage show at the Diamond Horseshoe in Tokyo Disneyland, will premiere on September 1st. The dinner show features Clarabelle Cow and Horace Horsecollar preparing their own variety show. Disney's description says, Mickey Mouse and his friends invite you to join this foot-tapping show packed with everything from romantic ballads to comedic scenes. The Diamond Variety Muster will replace the Mickey and Company show that previously performed. The Diamond Horseshoe's menu includes horseshoe-shaped bread, tortilla rolls, sausages, and fried chicken. The kids' menu includes meat patties, sausages, and fried shrimp. I can't believe they're making a show that stars Clarabelle and Horace. If you ever wonder, Tokyo is such a magical, interesting, crazy place. It would be the only place you're ever going to see a show that stars, in particular, Horace Horsecollar and Clarabelle Cow. Also, starting July 3rd, guests at Tokyo DisneySea will be able to experience the new Duffy and Friends Wonderful Friendship Mealtime Show, which replaces the long-running My Friend Duffy show at Cape Cod Cook-Off in the American waterfront. The show will feature Duffy and his friends working together to create a party and deepen their friendship while overcoming troubles that occur along the way. Cookie Ann, Olu Mel, and Lena Bell will all make their first costumed appearances at Tokyo DisneySea as part of the new show. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and the Cape Cod postal bird Tippy Blue will not be part of the show. Look it up, kids. I'm not explaining it. I'm not explaining Tippy Blue. Just look it up. Unlike the former My Friend Duffy, which ran all day on a standby line system, guests will be required to make reservations to see this show 1 month in advance, which will only have 4 seatings a day. Given the popularity of these characters, it's likely these show reservations will be highly coveted and difficult to obtain, so you will want to try and book those exactly a month out, ladies and gentlemen. Seating is divided into 3 tiers. There's S, A, and B. The S tier is represented on the map by blue, green for A, and red for B. Prices as followed. The S seats are about $27 US, the A seats about $23 US, and the B seats about $19 US. The meal is also fixed for these shows, one of the current Cape Cod first prize set meals, along with a strawberry mousse dessert. I will tell you this, one of the most quintessential experiences to understand the crowd at Tokyo Disney was going to My Friend Duffy. I always felt it was a must if you took people for the first time, because you had to see it to believe it, because there were almost no children in the crowd. It was almost just grown adults with these going and eating the world's worst hamburger to watch these characters sing and dance on stage. I'm not knocking it. You know, I'm a big proponent of whatever makes you happy, and I certainly sat there and enjoyed the show myself. But it's kind of weird. I'm excited that a show will be back. I know Lena Bell has been a runaway sensation. When we went, my mother bought everything. My mother doesn't buy a lot of stuff. We went in one of the Duffy stores and she bought everything with Lena Bell. She fell in love with her. And so this will be a big success. It's great that they're going to do a new show. I hope it's as good as the old one. But I will warn you now, you're not going for the food. You're going for the experience in the show and to see people take in this Duffy and Friends stuff, which is an experience all in its own. But don't expect the hamburger to be edible because it's very much not. While Tokyo Disneyland summer plans resemble something close to normality, sans a Castle forecourt water show, with plenty of attractions receiving Wet and Wild upgrades, one notable summer overlay is still missing. That is the Country Bear Vacation Jamboree. Every summer from 1994 to 2019, Tokyo Disneyland would convert the Bear Show to the Country Bear Vacation Jamboree, based heavily on the Country Bear Vacation Hoedown from the Disneyland and Walt Disney World resorts. The summer tradition would begin in June and run through Halloween before the Country Bear Jingle Bell Jamboree Christmas show would come. And though Tokyo Disney Resort has announced the return of Splash Mountain Get Wet Max, which is their wetter version of that ride, and of course the summer version of Aquatopia, which also gets you more wet than usual, and wet elements as well in Toontown. And even last Halloween, they did Haunted Mansion Holiday Nightmare. They still have no plans to bring back the Vacation Jamboree. It's not in the press release, and we actually called OLC, and they confirmed there are no plans this summer for the Vacation Jamboree. And they said no decision has been made as of yet on the Jingle Bell Jamboree for Christmas. I think this is going to be a first. I'm gonna make a small rant about OLC. I think this is incredibly sad. This is clearly not a COVID thing anymore. This is an attempt to probably not bring these back. And I think what I have loved about them is their commitment to operating a Disney park as it should be operated, right? And if they, for the sake of money, do what Walt Disney World did and when they got rid of the Christmas show permanently, I will be very disappointed in them that they will not run these shows. I think it was such a great thing that you knew whatever time of year you went to Tokyo Disneyland, you could see a different Country Bear show, whether it's the original, the Christmas, or the summer show. And the fact that they're bringing back the Aquatopia summer overlay, Splash Mountain is doing its second year of that overlay. It just means it just feels like it's maybe a money thing. It might be a staffing thing. I don't really know. But I certainly hope this is going to change. I hope we have not seen the last of the summer or the Christmas shows because I love them both dearly. Shanghai Disney Resort announced Marvel Fan Fest would be coming to the park this May. The announcement features Mickey and his friends dressed up like Marvel superheroes. We've seen some of these outfits before at the Disneyland Resort. In fact, right here on the YouTube channel, you can watch us meet all the Disney friends in these costumes at DCA. Mickey is dressed as Captain America, Minnie as Spider-Gwen, Daisy as Black Widow, Chip and Dale as Thor and Loki, and Donald as the Hulk, Goofy as Iron Man, and Pluto just wears an Avengers bandana. They'll be appearing in Tomorrowland to show off their heroic dance moves. There'll also be Marvel-themed merchandise, food, and beverage decor, and more during the celebration. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. Real quick plug, pick up this shirt, carouselofproducts.com. We still have some Animal Kingdom 25th anniversary merchandise available. I'm even wearing the t-shirt today. In fact, we have way less of the t-shirts left at this point. Some sizes are already gone. And we are very quickly running out of these fantastic button-ups, which even have an homage to Camp Mini Mickey on them. So make sure you pick these up again. carouselofproducts.com. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Inner Globe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members who make this show happen every week. A real quick note, I know I was just gone for several weeks. I will not be here again next week. Eric will be filling in because we will be covering the first of the 25th anniversary cruises from Disney Cruise Line. So the first, I forget what they call this. Is it the silver anniversary at sea? I think it is. But the very first of those cruises is on the Wish. You know, my favorite ship, everybody. It's on the Wish, and it starts May 1st. And it is the absolute first of the 25th cruises on any ship. And so we'll bring you lots of coverage from there beginning next week. But Eric will be filling in Thanks, Derek. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
From WDWNT TV, this is Park Center. Join us each week for news and discussion topics from the Disney and Universal theme parks around the world. We cover the stories in a quick, concise, and fun format, and then our panel breaks down and debates some of the biggest issues and what they mean for us, the parks fans. From the latest announcements to openings and delays to scandals and snacks and merchandise and more, we'll cover it all in 90 minutes. Join us live every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at WDWNT TV, or watch episodes on demand anytime. You can also subscribe to the audio version of the show on your favorite podcast app.